Okay, this I believe is a very important book for everyone. It was written like 10 years ago, so it's not new, but the myth of the new is better is not true either. So obviously this is a book you should read because you see everyone wants a easy fix. They want to improve in chess magically, but they don't want to put in the hard work. And in case of blunders, mistakes, there are many types, is not only one, and here we can see it. This book is beautiful also because it's made by the games of this grandmaster, Edouard, that you can see it. It's heartbreaking in some cases what happens to him in the games, because some games that would have been easily won were draws or lost because of the mistakes, and he brings it to the table very humbly, showing his own experience. So definitely something to watch. I like the fact that one of the proofreaders was Irina Krush, one of our grandmasters, and here you have the content. Notice that at the end of every chapter there are exercises, because the only way to improve in chess is not only read about stuff, but to practice. And with that said, let me go to this chapter of general reasons for blundering and show you one of the games. Again, the chapters are, in my opinion, very important, like in the beginning, objectivity throughout a chess game. The game I want to show you comes from general reasons for blundering. So, as you can see, there are many chapters, many kind of ways that possible mistakes interfere with our performance, and they are not only leaving a piece empty, like they say. So the game I'm showing you is Bricard Emmanuel 2453 against Edouard Romain 2508. It was played in 2008 in the 83rd France Championship National B. Maybe the B is they are divided in A, B and C as a championship, I don't know. Okay, it starts with d4, knight f6. Now this is also why I like this book, because the author practically 90%, 95% of the time has provided all the game, not only the position from which the problem started. And I like this because this gives you some context to understand where the mistake came from. Knight f3, e6, g3, b5. Very interesting move. Maybe this was found thanks to a computer, because this kind of strange moves often are really homework preparation. Another thing you can notice in these games, bishop g2, bishop b7, is the fact that they are long. Practically most of the time they arrive in the endgame, and you need to know how to play the endgame, or at least how to think. Bishop g5, c5, bishop takes f6, queen takes f6, c3, queen d8, castle, and bishop e7. By the way, one thing I wanted to show you, and maybe some people who like chess books are interested, is that there is the signature of the author in this book I have. So that's why I like it also very much, because obviously some of us are not only reading chess books for improvement. Some of us likes to have them in our library. So let's see what happened. Okay, knight bd2, castle, a4, b4, c4, bishop f6, knight b3, knight a6, and queen d3. So here the author says the position is very normal. So if the position also for you looks normal, I would like to tell you one thing. Try to pause the video and see what would you play for black. Okay? Now, with that said, I want also to tell you another thing. I want to tell you one funny story that the author recounts here. He says, now I'm going to say a funny, difficult to believe but true story that happened. So black in this position played rook c8, which is obviously a blunder, right? He says, after that move, rook c8, I started to look around what was going on and got distracted. My opponent was already thinking for more than 15 minutes. I was feeling confident and started to look at the screen where all the games of the event were being broadcasted. I saw my own position and noticed that some guy allowed a very simple winning tactic. So, did you find what is the winning tactic if you play rook ac8? The winning tactic is knight g5. Why it's a winning tactic? Because unfortunately these are all on the same type of squares. If you don't take this and let's say you take this, obviously it's checkmate. Okay, so that's the problem. Once you play this move, the game is over, because you have to take, but then tack, and then also that one of the two fall down again. So clearly it's the game is over. And he said, some guy allowed a very simple winning tactic. Of course, 2 seconds later I realized this guy was me. After thinking for 10 more minutes, so we have an opponent, white, that is rated 24-53, that he practically fought 25 minutes on playing a mistake. He played rook a c1. So 25 minutes for this move instead of this. This is the part that doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, because this honestly, it's a kind of common attack in this kind of positions, and you can see that this is hanging, so I don't know why he didn't think of this. It doesn't make any sense. In any case, rook a c1, blunder. Relief, I started to play very fast in a still complicated position, feeling like a free man. So what did he play? He played bishop c6, because at this point knight g5 doesn't mean anything anymore, right? d5. And now white makes another mistake. What is the mistake that he plays? Try to think what you would play for black in this position. Obviously d5 as attack the bishop c6. Okay, so black played bishop takes a4, and he said, playing within a minute, only considering 16, knight b d2, and missing that after rook a1, bishop takes b3, my opponent did not have to take on b3 necessarily. This could be, by the way, an illustration to subchapter number 2 as well, about automatic moves. Okay, let's see what happens. He played rook a1, And now he played bishop takes b3 and rook takes a6. Now the game is over. Why? Because he just lost a piece against a 2400 plus rated player. So let's see what happens. He takes d5, queen takes b3, d takes c4, queen takes c4, d5, rook a2, c4. This is obviously an interesting idea. He thinks that he can recover the piece if he is able to bring one pawn on the 7th, because at that point white will need to give up a piece to stop these pawns from promoting. But let's see what happens. Okay, so after c4 he played b3, queen e7, e3, queen b7, and rook a4, and here there is a sign of decisive advantage for white. So what does GM Edouard says? I have logically lost the game in 50 moves. And here he gives some tips and rules, okay, that you can read about, and so they are really important because you are watching this game. You saw he lost, but why he lost? So he says, in the limelight, rule number 1, after missing something important or after blundering, it is very human to get fatalist or angry with yourself. For example, to start to play fast and or without calculating. This is childish and not the right time for it. If you make a mistake, it is not a reason to make one or several more. Most of the time, one even relatively important mistake is not enough to lose the game. Nonetheless, in many practical games, one big mistake often hides or several others due to a psychological shock. In other words, even if you make a mistake, have in mind that your opponent is not a computer. Okay? Here there is rule number 1. The general philosophy to follow during a game is that you should never look behind, and that you should always force your opponent to be as precise as possible. The situation changed badly, adapt yourself, play according to the new position and to the new parameters. Okay? So this advice that are given in this book are, in my opinion, really worth the price, because here we have a chess player that has showed the amount of huge mistake that happened during his career. So I hope that you enjoyed this game, and eventually will read the book, because that should be a must read for every one of us.